Hi there, Hokians. It's me again, Kuya Hawk. Have you ever tried using Zuya? He's a mage and a back support roamer. Yes, that's right. You could use Zuya as roamer. Why? That's because of his skills and crowd control effects that can help your allies in team fights. But remember, don't use defensive equipment if you're using him. Use magical items that can add a lot of HP such as this, this, and this. These three items contain 1000 HP each, which can protect Zuya from pierce damages. Now, let's talk about his source of mana, which is very important to support your allies. First, the Boots of the Arcane. Boots of the Arcane grants you 25 mana for every 5 seconds, and it will also give you a 100 magical pierce. Next is the Ardent Dominator. It will give 600 max mana plus a 15 mana per 5 seconds. The best thing about this item is when your health drops at 30%, it will grant you a shield and increase your movement speed. And my favorite, the Holy Grail. This item is best for mages that consume a lot of mana. I guarantee this item is the best source of mana, but I've always said, it's always up to you, which one you prefer to use. Now let's proceed with his Arcana build. When I'm setting my Arcana, I always focused in only 3 types, to maximize its bonus effects. As I've always told you Hokians, it's always up to you what you think is best for your hero. But for me, I focus on movement speed, cooldown reduction, and health. Now, I will show you my basic roamer build for Zuya. These 3 items here are my priority items. This one is for my mana recovery. This is for slowing enemy movement, especially in Clash. And this prevents enemies' HP recovery. If you ask me why I choose supporting items instead of having high damage, simply because I use Zuya as a roamer. And take note, I do not always use these items. I always change my equipment depending on our team opponents. I use these 3 items to enhance my HP against damages. Because the more you have HP, the more you can bear damages. Now let's review Zuya's skills. His first skill caused a slow effect and continues damage. I will give you tips later on how to properly use it to support your allies. His second skill is a combination of continues damage, slow, and crowd control effect that toss enemies in the air in a short period of time. This is one of the reasons why Zuya could be used as a support roamer. Now let's take a look at his ultimate skill. He releases a long and wide range of aura that slows the enemy inside it, followed by a couple of waves that hit and damage enemies. Take note, Zuya cannot able to move while using his ultimate until level 15. I can only tell you some basic information regarding his ultimate, but I can give you tips on how to use his skills properly in the game. So now I will show you a gameplay using Zuya as a roamer. As usual, as a roamer, I went to farm lane to help our marksman. All you need to do is prevent your enemies from gaining gold first. Stop hitting the enemy roamer cause it's just a waste of mana. My advice is, focus on hitting their marksman instead of their roamer. It will allow your ally marksman to kill the minion waves first. Hit their marksman with Zuya's first skill to annoy it and decrease its health. If you have an opportunity to eliminate the enemy, then do so.
First blood.
Let your marksman farm and focus on guarding him. If you think your ally is in the safe zone, be his eye for possible enemy attacks. If you keep your position in this bush, it will alarm your marksman for a possible invasion attack, and it could possibly comes from here or here, so you need to always keep him alarmed.
An enemy has been slain. Rampage. Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain.
If you think someone tries to approach and kill you, use the second skill to stun them and run away. But if you think you could eliminate them, then do so. Or if you think you're about to be cornered, use your flicker wisely. Do not be a hero. Ziya is not a tank. He's a back support roamer, so he obviously cannot bear high damages. If you ask yourself how Ziya protects his allies if he's not a tank, yes, he can't if you're only going to fight with enemies in close combat. But if you use strategies, use his skills, you can protect your allies effectively.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
I suggest you watch the video and check out how I use Ziya's second skill. If your allies are clashing against your opponent, always use Ziya's second skill to stun enemies, and his ultimate to slow and hit your opponents. These strategies will help your allies in team fights.
Killing spree. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy has been slain. Shut down. Fabulous. Your team has destroyed
Ziya
a
is
turret.
easy to use. Just always use his second skill wisely. Again, this is Ziya, and thank you for watching.